Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro and the famous, or not so famous, Woody Allen retrospective right here.
Try the only retrospective. How about that?
The only audio YouTube Woody Allen retrospective. Simon is speaking the truth. That's a fact, guys. Welcome back. The man has already introduced himself. I'm going to introduce him again. I'm here with my buddy, the guy who's followed me through these 58 or so recordings. Is Simon, asshole, Man of the Woods, Rad.
Yeah, that album does make me want to be a man of the woods, which is a first. Usually I keep my country background on the down low, but that makes me proud. It is slightly related, considering this is technically also a Justin Timberlake movie on this episode. But yeah, I can't believe you dragged me through all these damn recordings. We're actually caught up. This is the most recent movie. 2017, this came out last year.
How does it feel? How do you feel when you agreed to do this way back in 2016, now in 2018? How do you feel now? Do you regret coming on this journey with me? Do you regret it, Simon?
Well, let me give you a metaphor. Have you ever bought a car that turned out to be much shittier than you thought it was, and you were like, okay, I'm going to trade it up, and then 5 years later, you're still driving it?
You're talking about Woody Allen's filmography right now. I'm not insulted right now. You're just talking about Woody Allen, not me.
No. I enjoyed the movies, okay?
Sure.
The aspect of actually doing something in such a completionist fashion and seeing so many films you didn't really even know existed. You didn't know Woody Allen did so many movies besides the ones everybody knows about because they're classics. Was really exciting, man.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, when you watch these type of movies, you start to see parallels between the films and your life and all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's been a crazy year. Yeah, I can't believe you made me do this. You dragged me through some pretty shitty movies, and that TV show really put a hat on everything last week. But
yeah,
we've done it. We're here.
We're here. And before we go on and get more mushy about this, guys, even after we do this recording here, it's not over because there's a few other supplementary Woody Allen discussions we're going to have. Some people have asked to come on, do some separate videos. So the Woody Allen retrospective still continues in a different form. But guys, on the last discussion, we spoke about 2016 collaboration between Woody Allen and Amazon, where they gave him some money to create a television series. It was 2016's Crisis in Six Scenes. If you're on YouTube, I'll put a link in the top right corner so you can go back and listen to that description. If you're on listening on the podcast, I'll put a link down below. Funny enough, little update on that discussion. I actually found out that Woody Allen got a massive paycheck for the series, more than I think any other Amazon series at the time. And people, yeah, you know what? I'm not making this up because apparently some of the other creators were so upset with the turnout because, how the final product turned out and how much money was put into it and what the final product was, that people were upset. And Woody Allen, again, felt guilty. He actually came out and felt very guilty about what he produced. So, guys, again, I know it's harsh on it. I know people hate me for it. I still think it's easily one of Woody Allen's one of his worst creations for whatever reason. So, let's just leave that behind. But, guys, moving forward, you've heard us say this over 50 times. This retrospective are mostly spoiler discussions where we break down what we like, what we don't like, talk about the movie, give you synopsis, all the other stuff. And we created a website called Woody Allen Retro. I've already said that 4 times, where you can find every single discussion. We created a separate website, and I want to hear from you guys. It's a call to action. Now we're at the final recording. I want to hear from you guys what you liked, what you didn't like, the movies you agreed, disagreed. This is your chance to feed back to us. I don't ask all the time. Well, I kind of do. But this time, I definitely want to hear it. Stay tuned on our next discussion because we're doing a very special video next time. But that is the last summary I'm going to give because Simon's going to describe the most recent completed Woody Allen movie. And we're going to have a nice old spoiler discussion about it. So Simon, Rad, usher us into the next movie.
Well, there's not much suspense left considering we already mentioned who's in it and when it was made. But just to reiterate, this is, up until this recording's date, the most recent Woody Allen theatrical release. It's last year's Wonder Wheel. Not Wonderwall like the Oasis song. I was about to start singing, today is gonna be a day, yada, yada, yada. Nobody cares. That's the one thing that pisses me off about the UK. Everybody's still going on about, oi, mate, remember Blur, Oasis? I'm like, no. Nobody cared outside of the UK even back then. And nowadays, people don't even know about those bands. And stop pretending like, the Gallagher brothers are like John Lennon. Not even close.
Whoa.
Yo, but...
You're lucky most of our fans are Americans. They will agree with you. But, if you see some Brits on the street, you might get attacked.
I know. It's like, oi, mate. Oi. Anyway, speaking of overrated songs, you know what does live up to the hype? What lives up to the not-existing hype that it should have gotten? This movie, man. Wonder Wheel. Maybe it's too early to call, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think we're seeing a second, winning phase for Woody Allen in the second half of this decade. We were both surprised how good Cafe Society was for 2016, which is technically the movie that came before this.
Yeah.
And the TV show is really a sidestep. It's an experimental project.
Definitely.
And if you put that to the side, Woody Allen is on a winning streak. Because, again, this movie, what I really wanted to start off with is not even the story, just the technical aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie he shot digital was Cafe Society. And it worked beautifully. I think the freedom of editing and being able to apply, the color correction, the lighting, really helps with Woody Allen's vision and his eye for cinematography. That movie was beautiful. One of the most beautiful digital films I've seen, period. And this one, again, is very good looking. I mean, it was just a joy to look at. They use a lot of CGI to recreate Coney Island the way it was, and it works beautifully. Now, the movie is basically set on Coney Island. For those of you who don't know, Coney Island is the home of a world-famous American, I guess, Ferris wheel. What shit? That's Ferris wheel, merry-go-round. Like
Sure.
What's the term I'm looking for? Amusement park. Thank you. Old school, like you see in the old school comics.
We like to call it a fun fair in the UK, by the way.
Nobody gives a shit what you like to call it. And like in the old school comics, it's an American thing. Like in the old school comics where the Jokers are always hiding out, throwing bombs at Batman, riding the roller coaster.
Sure.
This is it. That's Coney Island back in the day. And this is coming in. If you can grab me the year, because I don't want to get it wrong, but this is coming in right at the end. So basically after the peak of Coney Island where things are going downhill.
Correct.
And it's not making the money it used to, and the crowd is not as high up as it used to. You have a lot of ex-soldiers, a lot of Navy guys, kind of the post-war syndrome, and I think we're in the 1940s, 1950s.
That's about right, yeah. Don't need to be precise with this, because again, this is not one of the ones that Woody Allen wants to be precise, because there's a lot going on with the actual characters, so I think it's better to be a little bit vague and just get the overall time period.
Yeah, but it's really about the feeling, because...
Mm-hmm.
Woody Allen has mentioned this in interviews, and he made the joke in Annie Hall that were his character, which again is probably not based on himself. It just happens to be a coincidence that just like him, who lived close to Coney Island, in Annie Hall, his character as a kid lived under the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And again, this family, who's a centerpiece of this story, lives on Coney Island. So I think we're going to have a more intense discussion about the characters and what they do, so we don't need to get into that. But quick setup, Justin Timberlake, again with his smooth voice, opens up the movie with narration, explaining that he's a romantic at heart who fancies to be a writer. He's currently a lifeguard on the beach next to Coney Island, next to the big Ferris wheel, next to the amusement park, and he's having an affair with a married woman played by Kate Winslet, who's in her second marriage after a troubled first marriage that she kind of messed up by having an affair. She's stuck with her fucking son, who's a pyromaniac, with James Belushi. Yeah, he's still around, and he comes back strong with this.
Hey, you're not his friend. You call him Jim Belushi, not James. When his friends call him James, you call him Jim.
Okay, so the bald fat guy who used to have a sitcom, he's back, but man, he comes back strong, and that's my first gripe with the movie. Overlooked. This is a really overlooked movie because he gives a great performance right off the gate. You
Sure.
can tell that this is a guy with a huge heart, but with some serious issues.
Yeah.
He had some alcohol problems. He's not allowed to drink. He's very feisty when he drinks. He basically punches everybody, including his wife, which is not okay. But at the same time, he seems to be very dependent on her. And their backstory is that they both had a absolute low point in their life, and they kind of found each other and helped each other get back on their feet. But things get upset when the daughter returns into Jim, just for you, Jim Belushi's life.
Yeah, that's Juno Temple. Juno Temple, yeah.
Juno Temple, the wonderful Juno Temple, who you can see in a lot of things. I think she was in Maleficent,
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises. She was Selena Kyle's assistant, and a number of other things. She's a great up and coming young actress who really, I think, in terms of her acting and her appearance and just her overall, I guess, charm, the time period and the costumes really suit her. She just looks like a painting in this movie, and she has the performance and voice to match it. She's a troubled youth, basically. Her dad was very strict and boring and introduced her to guys who were also, just like her dad, boring and colorless. So she ran away with this Italian dude who turned out to be a mobster, and now the mob wants to kill her because she was a snitch. What do you know? Kind of a hard turn. And as you can tell from the setup, things are going to get complicated, and life will get in the way of happiness. But will it be a comedy? Will it be a tragedy? That's always up to Woody Allen to decide. And somehow he always manages to do both. But I'll tell you right off the gate, I thought he made this a very entertaining movie with some brilliant acting. And I was very surprised how much I liked this. I'm not saying it's a timeless classic, but again, another strong movie from him that I really enjoyed. So please tell me, what did you think?
Simon. Once again, you're so out of touch.
No. Come on, the movie stars Justin Timberlake. That's already 5 stars right there.
You know what?
That's 90%.
No bullshitting. No, let me be open and honest. I do want to start with a positive and say overall, I think this movie has got a lot of a bad rap because I was really ready not to start the movie. And I have to say, man, hearing Justin Timberlake was part of the movie wasn't a good selling point, especially in the Woody Allen production, because Woody Allen and Justin Timberlake, you just don't think they gel. I know a lot of people, Woody Allen diehards, they don't want to like this movie just because of Justin Timberlake. It's not only is he not the greatest actor in previous movies, but he's a pop star, pop stars in movies and in the serious movies. So, but again, I'll get into details in a minute. Overall, it works pretty well, and I found this to be quite a riveting drama. This feels like a movie play, like Fences. It feels like it's adapted from a play because most of the conversations are focused in their house in Coney Island. To be honest with you, it's more open than Fences. You see a lot of the boardwalk, you see a lot of Coney Island.
You're right. If you paint the Ferris wheel and the fair as a painted background on a theater set, on stage, you could totally get away with it.
I could say that in a lot of times, like Fences, and feel it's a limitation, but here, it doesn't hurt the movie at all, and the performances completely drive the movie. Kate Winslet is one of my all-time favorite female actresses, and she just destroys the movie and I'm saying it in a positive way. She is excellent. She carries the movie. She's got a lot going on. She's basically, physically having these headaches. She is a very layered character, and I really like the way Woody wrote her for 90% of the movie. Jim Belushi.
Up until she becomes Mia Farrow at the end, but we can talk about more later.
We'll talk about that. Jim Belushi is actually fantastic. Again, if you see him, his past career is more sometimes comedic, and this time he's playing a Fred Flintstone character, but with a lot of gravitas. I thought he was fantastic. What a great role for him. Juno Temple. She's really good.
Sounds like a song. Sounds like a dubstep song. Juno Tempo.
But no, she's really good. I think Unfortunately, I was expecting a lot more from her character, from the narrative, but she comes off as somewhat of a plot device, which was disappointing. Justin Timberlake, let's focus on just for a minute. Now,
Save the best last, huh?
yeah, people are coming out the gate saying, oh, it's completely miscast, he just sounds off, or why'd you cast him? Let me say this. Was Justin Timberlake miscast? In a certain way, I feel he was, but I like his energy in the movie because he's kind of an unconventional type. If Woody Allen cast his normal character, it would have been the Woody Allen type of a writer. I've seen that. We saw that in Crisis in the 16s. He's done this multiple times. So I didn't mind that Justin Timberlake was kind of off in the role, but the energy he brought was different. And I thought, he's actually making this a different experience for me. And as far as his acting goes, it's the best thing he's done. In the beginning, it kind of grated on me. I didn't think he was a good choice for the narrator at all, because here's the thing. Justin Timberlake does have a smooth voice as a singer, but as a talker, he sounds like a teenager. That's just how he is. And a lot of singers...
Well, his character is supposed to be young. I mean, what is he supposed to sound like?
I'm just saying...
Clint Eastwood?
No. He's not putting on
Should
the
he
voice.
Be like, I'm having an affair with a married woman.
No, I'm telling you, he just has that voice. He didn't put on a voice. The accent he put on, by the way, wasn't great anyway, but his voice is just not a great sounding speaking voice. He's a great singer, but whenever he talks, it's just that, I don't know. And most of the time, in most of his scenes, he just wasn't blinking. He was just had kind of a stare, and I was just like, maybe
that's because you're in the Cold War. You gotta keep an eye out for communists. You gotta keep an eye out for the Reds. You can't blink. That's your personal responsibility as a man, as an American. You gotta watch the corner of your eye. That's authentic, motherfucker. That's
everyone's on a higher level than Justin Timberlake, but saying that he's not terrible. And as the movie goes on, he gets better. As the movie goes on, he actually grows into the role. Unfortunately, until the very last scene, which he kind of bundles, but I'll get to that in a moment. So
we will talk about that.
Overall, I think it's a good drama. It's like a play movie to me, and to be honest with you, I don't think this is gonna have wide appeal because it's just more like a play, and I don't think this compares to a lot of his other movies because it's just focused on the acting and drama. It's just too much like a play. I just think a certain type of crowd, not even Woody Allen fans alone, it just felt too much like a play that I enjoyed, and I thought the acting was good and the story was overall good. But I can see why the masses don't like it, because it just feels less like a movie and more like a play. And that's to me the biggest hindrance to the movie. Everything else is good, the story is good and all that other stuff. And it's pretty, by the end of the movie, I have to say, it's pretty depressing. It's pretty drab. And that's fine as well. And I was actually surprised because Coney Island is so uplifting, fun fair, lights, carnival. But as the movie goes on, it only gets darker and darker and darker. These people are very unhappy, except for Justin Timberlake. Everyone's very, very, very unhappy. Kate Winslet and her husband are just very unhappy people, especially Kate Winslet. By the end, I was just like, I like it. It's a kind of a darker drama movie. I like it, but I think I would understand why people didn't like it more as a movie and not just because of Justin Timberlake. But the hate I see this movie getting, I think it's a little bit unjustified. I think it's a good movie overall.
Nice pun.
I just think that I can see why this doesn't have massive appeal. I prefer Cafe Society because I think that's more of a movie. I think this is more of a actor's film. I think actors, people who act, like your lady, for example, she would appreciate this movie more, people that are actors. But as a movie, I just felt it was more like Fences.
Yo, I'll say this. It's not for stupid people. They should put that disclaimer on the movie because there's no running around, no chase scenes, no music montage, no dancing. You know, they don't dumb it down. Like, this is hard on dialogue and hard on charm and subtext. Okay, like this is to a certain extent a thinking man's film, but it, like you said, it really is about the performances. In terms of Justin Timberlake, I liked it because he was different. I even like things like he had so much energy, he couldn't stay on his mark. Every other actor would just hit their mark and deliver their dialogue, and they just kept moving back and forth. But because the cinematography is so good, it just beautifully follows him and makes his character feel more natural and his performance feel more authentic. And like you said, the movie's like a play a lot of times, the different scenes. So him kind of breaking out of those conventional acting rules that theater actors would bring with them to a project like this was really welcome. And I think he, as the voice of the audience, and to a certain extent as the viewpoint, the vessel for the audience, it's fine that he's fresh and he traveled the world and he's really different than the main cast who are all depressed
Yeah.
and kind of lived on Coney Island, because it helps you open up to these characters. And the way he learns about them, you learn about them. So I think that aspect of the movie works. Like we said, it's beautiful. The way they recreated Coney Island with special effects is great. The way they go to Greenwich Village and the different sites in New York. Once
Sure.
we get to the affair part and they have romantic kind of getaways, again, that's awesome. Woody again shooting what he loves, scenery and close to New York, related to New York, in New York. That always works well for him, so I can't criticize that. What I really want to get into is basically the story, because
Yeah, we do have to tackle the story, because I was getting, near the end, I was getting more of Interiors vibes a little bit, especially the ending, because
Interiors, really?
because the love drama started to get a bit tangled. And then what I didn't like, the big spoiler about the movie, is that I thought Kate Winslet's character was flawed in a really realistic way, and I really liked her. I thought she was really layered. But by the very end, Woody turned her into a straight villain, especially her last monologue.
That's the twist.
No, the last monologue, it just felt forced. That's what really made it feel like a play. Before that, she was just like a normal human that made mistakes. But that last monologue she has with Justin, which they both... I blame Woody for the writing of that. Justin, on his delivery, really flopped it. He really messed it up, because he's meant to come and confront her, and there's a scene where I think Woody should have directed to actually attack her. Not kill her per se, but strangle her or something. And there's a scene where...
Whoa, let's get into it. Let's get into it, because I agree with you in parts. Like, basically, the tragic element that comes into the fun, right? That comes into the uplifting scenes, that they avoid the trouble with the mob. Everything seems to be going okay. And Kate Winslet's character's previous tragedy is that when she had the first affair and her husband disowned her and they got divorced and he's gone out of the picture and she's alone with the kid, she let that personal tragedy get the best of her. And she felt so sorry for herself that her life ended up getting derailed. Her acting career drowned. And that's how she got into the situation, in this bad relationship, bad job as a waitress on Coney Island. And now we get a parallel character in Jim Belushi's daughter, who also made a mistake dating that mobster. It had its upsides with traveling and, passionate love. But then, obviously having hitmen sent on you kind of ruins any relationship for the most part. Now she's at an all-time low point, but actually she's getting back on her feet. She's going to night school. She's trying to put in the work, even though she's a terrible waitress, but she seems to be getting back on her feet. While for Kate Winslet's character, the only good thing in her life is Justin Timberlake. They're having a romantic fling. He likes the idea because he's a writer and it's exciting, and he's a nice guy. He genuinely cares for her.
Yeah, he's not an arsehole, which I think is good writing. He could have just been having an affair with the older woman and doing his thing, but no, it's written really maturely, which I appreciate.
But then you can't help it, but the daughter and Justin's character start falling for each other, and he doesn't want to go down that route. He even says, he talks to his friend like, it's not rational, I don't want to do it.
That's a good scene. I'm really glad Woody wrote that scene, by the way. It made it a lot better.
And that supporting actor was very funny. I thought, the chubby dude who's like the friend who's like a major in psychology.
Yeah.
Philosophy? I think it was philosophy. That guy was really funny. The way they had that scene in the cafe.
That's a classic Woody Allen. That's a scene I could see Woody Allen doing. It's like an Annie Hall scene where he's like, I should, but I shouldn't. I know mentally what's right, but I can't fight my heart. And I was like, hey, that's a great scene. I'm glad they put it in, because it gives Justin's character more humanity. He's not just some horny dickhead, and I like that. And he's honest with himself. I like the fact you get to see his thought process making that decision, which is good writing. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And we get to the climax, which is really Kate Winslet's character showing the first signs of selfishness, where she actually steals from her husband, Jim Belushi's character, because she's feeling the pressure that, okay, this young guy I'm in love with might fancy this young girl.
I'm losing
So
him. I'm losing him. Yeah.
yeah, so she buys him this really expensive watch, but at this point he's like, I can't take it because I'm having second thoughts of this relationship, and they break up. And on the same day, because it was Justin's birthday.
That's a good scene, by the way, on the boardwalk. And actually, that was the first scene that leaked or pictures online them on the boardwalk, not knowing that was the end of the movie. So that was a very good scene.
And beautifully shot. Great cinematography. Terrific lighting. This movie had, that's what I'm saying. This movie should have been nominated for an Oscar for the lighting alone and wardrobe.
There's Technicolor moments in this movie where Kate Winslet's in the house and the colors just on her of the Coney Island Fair, and it looks gorgeous. Woody Allen's never used Technicolor in that way before, and it just really highlights the uniqueness of this movie. Again, I didn't get the cinematographer's name. I think he did do Catherine Society with as well. A world-renowned cinematographer, by the way. I can't remember his name right now, but phenomenal visuals.
Absolutely. And this is basically the turning point in the movie where I thought at that point for a second, I was putting pieces together on maybe what the movie's really real inspiration is. But at that point I thought, if this is another tragic Woody female character, but she actually gets to be the hero because the mobsters come back, the idiot manager at the diner, of course, unknowingly tells them that the daughter went out with Justin to this pizzeria for his birthday. So the mobsters are heading over there, and Kate Winslet knows because she sees them leaving the restaurant. So she's like, "Oh damn, I gotta warn her, but the phone's not working in the restaurant." She rushes over to the payphone, picks it up, calls the restaurant, and then just hangs up. She makes that match point, turnaround, and basically sentences the girl to death.
I don't have a problem with that, by the way. If that's what you think I have a problem with,
really?
No, I don't have a problem with that at all. That's the train of where a character was going. That's believable. She's miserable through the whole movie. She's a fucking wreck. Justin's the only thing giving her reprieve, and I could see that was happening. It's not even predictable. It makes sense to me. That's not what I'm talking about.
Jealousy is ugly, but I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Because Woody, he's so tragic sometimes or so pessimistic.
Yeah.
It really worked for this movie because with other directors, you can either tell, okay, this is going down the dark route or this is going to be happy. Like they will escape or she will fight her way out or it's going to turn into a comedic scene. It's going to be a joke. But with Woody, you never know.
Sure.
It could go either way.
He's going to go hard left or hard right. He doesn't go middle. He goes hard left or hard right.
I really felt tension here. I was really worried because I like both the characters, even though she was she didn't know anything, right? She just stumbled into this mess. And at that point, Justin's character comes clean and tells her everything. He knows everything about her at that point as well, from talking to her on the beach and hanging out. So they both reach this point of neutral understanding where they admit they have feelings for each other. He's in love with her. They know everything about each other's pasts, and they have this beautiful evening together, and she's like, I gotta think things over, and they part ways. And even though Justin said, look, I'm a lifeguard, my job is to save people, I want to save you too, he lets her go, and we never see her again. And
Can I ask you a question to interject here? I know this isn't a murder movie per se, but I really wish Woody Allen showed the scene where she quote unquote gets killed, because I think it would have driven home the intensity of that betrayal or that decision a lot more. Now, I guess maybe he wants to leave it ambiguous. She just disappeared because in reality, you never know. She just got swept away. She got spirited away. She's dead. She's gone. They were looking for her. But I just wish we saw that. I wish we just saw her getting gunned down. I know it sounds like I'm fucking evil, but I really wanted to drive home the point of the decision she made. And I just thought it would have made it even powerful. The fact that we didn't was kind of like, I know what he's doing, just leaving it a little bit. It doesn't really hurt the narrative per se. I just think it would have made it even more stronger.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He definitely chose to be extra elegant with it.
Yeah.
At first, it's good from the perspective of that it keeps you guessing because you're so hoping that she comes back, that she's fine. Maybe she escaped. Maybe something happened that we don't know about yet. Maybe there's a twist reveal where Kate Winslet's character gets cornered for what she did and she shows up, So it keeps kind of that hope alive. So you really feel the desperation of all the characters the following day looking for her, not knowing what happened to her.
Yeah, Jim Belushi is really, when he comes in at Justin, is really distressed. And I have to say, I know we didn't speak about Jim Belushi a lot, but just the
He's
love
great.
for his daughter, the way he's performing it through the whole movie, I thought he was really, really great. Really great.
Yeah, and so I like that, but at the same time, with editing, you can show the scene later when they
Sure.
discuss it. So you don't have to show her getting killed right away. You can just leave her disappear like they did it in the film, but then later intercut, like cross-cut two scenes, one with characters discussing in real time and one cutting back to when it actually happened. So you see,
Yikes! You're even more fucking horrible than I am. That sounds
yeah, well,
horrible.
well, that's a more advanced filmmaking technique, but it's
Yo, look
effective.
at you, Simon. Look at you.
Well, I do have my own tricks up my sleeve, but
All right, buddy.
Woody doesn't do that, so that's fine. And we saw the documentary how he shoots things. He shoots the scene, then he goes to watch baseball or whatever else he's got on for the day, and then they figure it out in the editing room. So
Sure.
he definitely won't do anything like that. Like he won't like construct it that far ahead unless it's a very special script that he had. Like he had the scene in his mind for years, and he knows what he wants to do. Kind of like a match point scenario, but even so, he's mostly linear when it comes to scenes like that. He switches up timelines and things in other type of films. So this was more a linear story, and we had more jumping back and forth in time when there was narration in the beginning from Justin's perspective, introducing and setting up everything. But then we get to the final part of the film where everybody confronts everyone in the apartment where they live on Coney Island, and Jim Belushi's drinking again. He's destroyed. His character's over, and Kate Winslet really comes out full throttle as the diva she is, the actress she is, and what she committed out of jealousy.
That's
and
what
that's
I don't
when
like.
Justin comes in, and okay, tell me about it, because when she shows up, she steals the scene. It's her scene, so I like that. I agree. I thought it would have been a good opportunity for him to be more aggressive and show more raw emotion. He played it very subtle.
Yeah.
A lot of times going subtle is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But for him, his character and his performance was subtle all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
So that was a good time to maybe push a bit harder.
Yes.
It was still good for him. I thought he wasn't bad in the scene, and it was all about Kate Winslet anyway.
I thought he was bad in the scene. I thought he was bad in that scene. In particular, that was his worst scene. Because there was a bit where he's like, I could just... He just touches her on the shoulder, and like, you're not even going to grab her by the neck at least. And it's just like, is Justin too scared to even do it? Because I just kept on thinking, maybe Justin himself doesn't want to do it. He's too nice of a guy to go that far. That was his moment to show people that he can go. And I think he should have. And Woody Allen, I can see him just saying, do what you think is right. Because that's what he does. He just sits there like, you know what? Let's play out the scene. Kate Winslet, actually, the problem I have with Kate Winslet is she overacts a little bit to the point where she dresses up and she's got the smoker. She totally becomes...
True personality comes out. Like,
no,
that's
what I didn't like, because I don't know. All through the movie, she seems like she sees herself as a bad person. She's very regretful. But in that scene, Woody completely transformed her into a villain. And I was like,
That's when you realize that she's still an actress, and all that bullshit that she was spewing throughout the movie was an act. And don't get me wrong, me and my girlfriend had a great discussion about it. She was saying, like, I can totally see where she's coming from. She's busting her ass, yet her husband has 100 times more love for his daughter than for her.
Oh, yeah.
Now the guy she's in love with, madly in love with, or at least is the object of her escapism, falls in love with the same girl. She doesn't even know what's going on. She doesn't know anything. She just stumbles up on it.
And the girls really kind of mess up her chance, and this was her chance. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing wrong with Kate Winslet's motivation. I just didn't like the execution on that scene, mostly with Justin. But it led to the conclusion of the whole movie, and I'll get to, after Justin leaves, there's another extra scene as well. The conclusion of the movie is fine, although a bit dark, because where it really ends with James Belushi coming in again, and even him looking like he's going to attack her as well, because he kind of blames her, he kind of figures it out, and them two have a powerful scene at the end. Like the way Woody ends it with Kate Winslet looking at their life is fucked. They're miserable, they're back to square one, there's no advancement, they are just stuck, their lives are back to shit. The end. A very powerful ending, very drab ending, and I was just like, it's a bold choice, Woody. Like in TV, that sometimes life is just fucked. I like it. I just thought I can understand why people are going to walk away from this movie thinking, I didn't like this. But I like I'm gonna summarize.
It's definitely not a happy ending. It's not a happy ending, I'll tell you that.
I'm just going to summarize. Again, I like just talking about the movie because, again, it's like a play. There's a lot going on. It builds up. Things are happening. Characters are there. The actors are all good. It just doesn't feel like a Woody Allen original movie to me, a normal Woody Allen movie to me. It just feels so much more like a play. And again, a few things but Justin Timberlake does a lot better than I thought he would. I'm hating him a lot, but he did this a lot better than I thought he would. Props to him. Woody Allen really praised him after this. Like he did, and I think he did a good job. And I think he did good by Justin's career, although we have to talk about some of the outside things because I know,
we'll get to
but
that.
I'll let you finish. I'll let you, because at the end of the day, I think it's a good movie. It doesn't have all the hate, but I do think it's kind of not for everybody. And even the Woody Allen diehards don't like the movie overall. I can kind of see why, but I don't think the negative feelings for the movie come for the right reasons. I feel like mine's got more to do with certain script elements and it be more of a play. Other people just look at Justin Timberlake and just feel like the movie's too depressing. I don't mind that. One of my favorite movies is a kind of a depressing movie, Another Woman. And like you said, I'll go back to the first things in the beginning and I'll pass it over to you. In terms of quality, this is a quality Woody Allen movie. This is a quality Woody Allen movie. But then again, most of his quality movies are just not open to general audiences. And I think I will not say it's a quality movie, quality script, really good idea. Cafe Society ended where the characters made all these mistakes and had all these regrets. This movie starts with characters having all these regrets for their lives. You know what I mean? And he took it and he just went further from there. And again, I think it's a really good movie on the whole, but I can see why this didn't appeal to everyone and why critics are not big fans of it.
You know, I think people got scared, man. I think this movie got shafted because of the controversies. Because here's the thing, like, I agree with you. That final scene, Justin's character could have been more intense. You know, he was very distressed. He figured it out that Kate Winslet's character, what she did. You know, you have this big twist with her where you thought for a second Woody's gonna make her the hero, and she turns out to be the villain. But at the same time, the way the scene ends is Justin's character kind of having this redemption that he doesn't sink down to the level of everybody else. He walks away from the situation. He just says, and you can live with this. So live with it. You know, you carry this burden. And basically, once again, you dug a hole for yourself and you managed to bury yourself underneath it. And I'm not going to rescue you. I'm not going to pull you out. I'm not that guy anymore. Because she acts during the entire scene. That's why she dresses up in this gown. Like, this is her winning him back.
Yeah.
And instead, he turns his back on her and walks away. So it still works. The scene still works. But I agree with you. I would love to see if there's another take where he actually pushes himself a bit farther and gets more aggressive. Would be interesting. With that said, I think the movie is really good. We'll do our top 10 as the finale, but compared to if we just look at this decade, and I have to condense the films down to decades now. If we look at this decade, To Rome with Love, Magic in the Moonlight, Irrational Man, far above those films. Totally.
Midnight in Paris was in this decade too.
No. Midnight in Paris, Blue Jasmine are like the two.
Oh, you're putting that to the side. You're putting that to the side. Fair enough.
Yeah. Because we said he gets at least two.
Oh yeah. Okay. You're using the mediocre movies. I get you.
Yeah. You get at least two gems. At least two gems with Woody Allen in every decade.
Sure.
So we already got those two out of the way early.
Yeah.
See if we get a third one. Is this another gem? I would put it on the same level as Cafe Society, where it doesn't have to be. I think it would hurt the movie if we tried too hard to be this like big epic drama or this humongous love story. The fact that it just focuses on the characters, and like you said, it's an intense play with some great acting, quality writing, quality visuals. Like, it's just a quality experience. It's like a really nice meal. Okay, it might not be a 5-star sushi, once in a lifetime, special meal, but it's a great meal. And I enjoyed it, but here's the twist, and here's what I wanted to ask you, because we always speak about this, how Woody Allen has this amazing imagination, and he always seems to come up with characters that are completely different from him. Like this guy never draws from his own life. Every other writer draws from his personal experiences, but Woody Allen always goes left field, right? We never saw a movie where the people he played even matched his personality. I mean, really, that never happens. And even in this movie, Justin's character,
I think that people are getting sick of us doing this, you know.
But if you think about it, even in this movie,
it's obvious, Simon. I was trying not to do it.
No, I am going there right now. His character is a writer that falls in love with the stepdaughter of the woman he's dating at the time, who already has an illegitimate son, potentially from a different father, who not only has issues, but just wants to see the world burn and likes to destroy stuff. I mean, if that's not heavy-handed, that this is basically the Mia Farrow story. That's what they should call this movie, because at the end, where she becomes so sinister and you realize that she's basically a liar, like a pragmatic liar, and probably unstable mentally, I'm like, oh damn! Now I see it.
Some critics pointed that out black and whitely. I didn't really want to bring it up because we touch on the Woody Allen character, but you bringing the Mia Farrow into it, which I did think about as well. But I'm like, with all the controversy, I don't even want to bring that shit up because, again, even if we come out of this movie and talk about real life, Justin Timberlake, your boy, got some tweets. He got some tweets.
He's still suffering
about his participation in this movie when he just tried to. What did he tweet again? Hey, what do I decide between this and that? And then Dylan Farr came out and said, you need to decide not to be a sexual, to work with a sexual molestation. I was like, Jesus. But anyway.
I know he made a joke about eat your cake and have it too. And she was like, well, let me give you a metaphor. It's like, I try to stand up for feminism, but still work with a sex offender. It's like,
you got it verbatim. That's pretty much what she said.
Yeah, because I saw the tweet legit. Like, I wasn't looking for it. I was just on Twitter. I was like, oh, Justin's tweeting. And I was like, who's this bitch talking some mad shit? And I didn't recognize her. And that's when I'm like, she got a lot of likes on this. Oh, it's you again, here and everywhere, boycotting other people. And by the way, I love it how she says, you got to choose between being a feminist and supporting a sex offender. I'm like, doesn't your whole family support, what's that, Roman Polanski?
Yeah.
Isn't he like a convicted rapist? While Woody Allen was found innocent.
One of her brothers is also... one of Mia Farrow's brothers is also in prison, right, for rape or something.
Yeah, are you talking about your uncle? And let's not get into it, but you talk about one guy where literally all the other eyewitnesses came out and said, you know what, I was pushed into this, I was told what to say, it's all BS. And Dylan Farrow's own brother, who's a family psychiatrist that I always quote, said, memories were planted in our heads, we were manipulated, I believe he's innocent, don't listen to these people. And when I saw that little fucked up kid with setting things on fire, I just thought, Roland Farrow. That's it. That's how it started. Just wanting to destroy things, destroy careers, destroy people. Don't get me wrong. The Harvey Weinstein thing, happy accident. I'm glad that pig got messed up. But this whole boycott thing, I think it really hurt this movie's perception. Because to me, that kind of real life twist where I could see where Woody got the influence from and what kind of painting he was painting with this film, that made the movie even better for me. I'm like, damn, now it makes sense. So the far-fetched arc that you said was too theatric for the villain, to me, I was like, now it makes sense. I actually appreciate how it was set up because of the character's past, how dark this character could potentially be and how selfish she could be.
Yeah.
He made you forget that and feel sorry for her by focusing on how real her pain is and her jealousy and her situation as a woman in that era, in that desperate situation, but then still brought it back where you're like, damn, you are evil. You are genuinely evil.
Yeah. And lastly, should bring this up. The one thing, I don't know if Woody kind of had her son doing that pyro thing on the side. I thought we would come back to that and figure out. I know there was a scene where where Kate Winslet took him to therapy, and then he was like you're the one actually saying that, you know, you fucked up our family, you feel guilty for my dad and all that other stuff. And I thought we would actually get to the revelation of the boy's psychosis of why he was setting those fires. I mean, we can figure it out. He's fucked up. He's been dragged around. He doesn't like his life. He's bored. He's angry. That's the other. But they kept on going back to that again and again and again.
You know what would have been a great twist?
What's that?
That he's secretly Frank Sinatra's brother. That Frank Sinatra's father fuck Kate Winslet's character, and they're related to Frank Sinatra. That would have been like the ultimate kind of fucking diss. Like, you know, he's a Sinatra. That's the problem. Oh, well, not a problem. I like Frank Sinatra. I just have a few issues with his son.
All right, let's
his son's integrity of setting fires that he can't control, burning innocent people in the process.
Simon's bringing up all the metaphors in the movie and real life. Guys, let's wrap this one up. Look, as I always say, go into the critical scores. If you jump on Rotten Tomatoes and look at the scores on IMDb, again, I'm surprised, 31% rotten. I mean, I'm going to read the critic synopsis. Wonder Wheel gathers a charming cast in an inviting period setting, but they aren't enough to consistently breathe life into a Woody Allen project that never quite comes together. I don't agree with that. Audience scores 46% on IMDb. Again, it's a very middling movie, and people, I don't know, man. I do understand the overall down feeling you get from the movie, but I think it's a great actor's piece. I think it's a great character piece, and yeah, you know, it is what it is, you know. So anything else to say, Simon, before we put the wrapping up on our final Woody Allen movie for the foreseeable future?
Well, I'm looking forward to the next one, Rainy Day in New York, because I think he's on a good streak despite, I don't know what people are smoking. I think people are just getting dumber every year.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, with that movie, it's got a plot element where an older man's having an affair with a younger woman, which people are already jumping on about him. We'll see how he executes it in the movie.
Again, where does he get these ideas from? I think he just watches a lot of soap operas, because that's not like he's not famous for having affairs. He's famous for being more of a conservative guy, right? Or am I mixing him up with somebody?
The ultimate remixer. Woody Allen is the ultimate remixer of his own content, and most of the time we love him for it. But nah, man. Like I said in the beginning, this has been a longer review just because we was a little bit more in depth for this one. But I've really...
But it was worth it, man, because I recommend the movie. And that's my final thoughts. So over to you.
Sure. Yeah, I overall kind of recommend it more for the Woody Allen fans. It's a movie I couldn't recommend to everyone. You know, I would recommend this the same way I'd recommend Fences. I really put them on the kind of an equal footing. I think they share the same pluses and flaws. This and Denzel Washington's Fences. I've said that a few times just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Guys, I've enjoyed the retrospective. This isn't the end of our project here. Woody Allen, I said this to you, Simon, off mic last week, and Simon doesn't like it when I say this, but I'm going to put it on record because I am glad Woody Allen is still alive while we're doing this retrospective, because I was fearing he's an old man. He's in good health. We've seen him in interviews and all that stuff. He's in good shape, and I definitely want him to pass, just like Floyd Mayweather, that 50 number. I want him to pass that 50 number, get that 50 films under his belt, be uncontested, unsurpassed before he passes away. It looks like he's nearly there. I think he's on the 58th, 59th movie. And yeah, I wanted to do this retrospective while he's still alive so we can still talk about him, still look at his body of work. And at this point in time, again, we're recording this in, let's say, March 2018. And he's still alive, still kicking, still writing, still producing. The controversy is real. It seems to have kind of died down right now. But again, I'm more fearful of what people will say once the next movie's in Sundance and how Dylan and Mia Farrow is going to jump on him, because again, the Me Too movement is still out there and they're always looking for a villain. And Woody Allen's Public Enemy #3 in that hit list right now. So we'll see how it goes. Man. We'll see how it goes. But guys, I want to say thank you for listening. And as always, I always have to thank Simon for taking his time, watching the movies weekly. I know most of you guys think it's enjoyable. To a certain point it is, but we got lives. It's been fun. But like I said, man, well, actually, Simon, first of all, thank you for joining me on this journey. I really appreciate you, brother, even though you're a fucking arsehole. I've appreciated you joining me and watching these movies and giving your thoughts because, guys, I think you can agree. This is a very knowledgeable and forthright guy. He's got a lot of interesting perspectives. And I'm black, he's white. I'm British, he's American and something else. And it's just good to it's just good to hear different perspectives on discussions on all these media things. You don't want to hear fucking two yes man saying, I love Woody Allen. I love Woody Allen too. He's the best. He's great. Da-da-da-da. Guys, that would be fucking boring. That's why I think you like this project in particular, because we're different. You want these critical darlings that love Woody Allen and just work for all these snotty journalistic newspapers that are proper artists and proper critiques and tell you how marvelous Woody Allen is. Fuck all that. You know what you're getting here. You're getting two blokes, two normal dudes just talking about the movies. And Simon Rad, I thank you for joining me on this journey doing these discussions.
No, you're welcome. Even though, I'm still waiting for that paycheck of, $2 that I'm going to get for this. So let me know when the ad revenue comes in from the podcast.
100%. A burger is on the way, a token, some kind of food token.
Oh, damn, a burger. Now we're getting upgrades, man. I may do a bonus episode just for that.
I'm going to put it on
But
mic,
hey,
I tell you what, as a thank you to Simon, I'm going to get you any one Woody Allen movie on Blu-ray. I'm going to get that for you. You got to tell me which one you want. And I'm going to get you on Blu-ray. I know you're probably going to say Manhattan. That's predictable. You got to, because all of these movies, I think on Blu-ray right now.
Can you get one for yourself? But I can tell you how many times you have to watch it.
Go on. What is it?
Crisis in 6 Scenes or 6... Yeah, Crisis in 6 Scenes. I want you to watch an episode per day for like the next year, every day.
Well, it's funny you should say that because we live in a digital age now, and Amazon don't see the need to even print it out in physical. So no, I don't think you can even buy this. And if you want to buy me an Amazon membership, that's fine because I can watch it that way. So I benefit from that. So Simon, get me the membership, and I promise you, wink, wink, that I will watch it every single fucking day. Guys, this is a long ass one. I think that's basically it. Again, stay tuned for we're going to do a best of, worst of, underrated. Me, Simon, are going to have that debate. We're going to argue about it. And then eventually on the channel, we're just going to have a straight top 10 Woody Allen movies that we think is the best 10 Woody Allen movies. Because you know what the internet likes? Top 10 movies lists.
Well, even though top 10 lists are bullshit, because you can say my top 10 list, but that's specific to you. It's not an actual valid list of overall, critical value. Back in the day, top 10 lists were based on actual facts. Like you could categorize things based on gross, based on critical success, awards, how well it aged, how many people still buy it. Is it a cult hit? How well does it do on home videos, etc. But these top 10 lists on YouTube, they're all garbage. So let's just call it our personal rankings, considering we literally watched everything. So
we're gonna do both, Simon. We're gonna do both. It's all about the hits, motherfucker. It's all about the hits and marketing. So, Simon, thank you for your goddamn advice. But we'll do what the hell we want here on Planet Tyro. You're just a passenger along for the ride, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You can also subscribe on the podcast. Links will be in the description. Don't forget. Even though this is our last discussion, you can go back and watch all the other discussions because we have spoken about, I can officially say, up to this point, March 2018, every single Woody Allen movie, TV special, television series, the whole thing's in the back catalogue. And if we've missed something, feel free to let us know, send us a message, and we can continue this train, this painful train, this fun train, whatever you want to call it. But on that note, guys, we'll see you on the next discussion, which will be soon, because we've got to do our best worst of. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, listeners. We'll see you on the next recording right here on the Woody Allen retrospective.
You're my wonder wheel. They should have had Justin singing that.